Well, well, well. Snoop Dogg says so much drama in the LBC, and I say so much drama being a fan of DC. It is always drama with the Dallas Cowboys. And we're going to talk tonight for a couple of hours. I would talk longer, but I'm still working on the studio. This thing is taking longer than I expected. It may take me a couple of weeks to get this finished, but y'all pray for me. It's a lot of work. But I'm doing it for the fans, doing it for the culture. Kelvin Bryant, what's going on? Appreciate you. We have got we got 5 points I'm going to make tonight. I want to get you guys' thoughts on these 5 points. But this Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl win has the Dallas Cowboy fan base shook up all the way around. I mean, I'm just watching so many people. You know, everyone has their opinion on what's going on with the Eagles, and then some people want to try to make excuses, still saying the same old arguments about Jalen Hurts, or trying to make excuses for Dak Prescott, or just all kinds of things. But we're going to talk about this some more tonight. I think that we have to understand what we've saw. That if we're the Dallas Cowboys, how do we capitalize on what we saw? And we can understand it. The question is, will the front office get what they saw last night? Because I'm going to tell you again what I saw. Like I said, I've been seeing things that people are saying, and I'm just like, you guys still not getting it. Some of the Dallas Cowboy fan base is still not getting it. And we're still making the same trite arguments. We keep running to the same arguments. But the same arguments is the very reason why the Cowboys, or even the organization, is in the situation it's in itself. We have to start looking at things differently, man. I mean, we just have to. We're going to have to realize that we can't keep doing the same old things thinking we're going to get a different result. And I think we're doing some different things. But then I look at what we're doing with this Micah Parsons thing, and then I'm like, okay, so I guess we're going to do the same old thing. So let's talk about it tonight. Whether it be 10 or 10,000, we're going to talk Cowboys. Let's talk facts. All right. I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. Let's get some greetings in again. Once again, Kelvin Bryant, what's going on? Miss Matrix, what's going on? Angie, the Rebel Chicks. Angie, tell me how it went. Tell me how it went at your job. Because if I know you, if there was any kind of talking, you was doing some snaps, some hard snaps in there. Jared, what's going on? Okay, here are my 5 things. Okay, let me come back to those. I like what you got there. Let me come back. Kelvin Bryant, he said the Eagles won because of a team in all areas. You just stole my thunder, Kelvin Bryant. This is what even some of the most seasoned Cowboys content creators are not understanding. We keep trying to make excuses. We got to stop trying to make excuses for why we failed. First, let's look at reasons why Philadelphia were successful. Stop trying to compare ourselves, because we can't be compared to them. Let's look at what they did. How were they successful? We don't have to start, we don't need to argue no more. Is Dak Prescott better than Jalen Hurts? Irrelevant. CeeDee Lamb better than A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith? Irrelevant. Is Micah Parsons better than any one of the D linemen on the Philadelphia Eagles? Irrelevant. Those are no longer the arguments. We keep making the wrong arguments. When we look at Philadelphia, we got to understand what they are. They're a team. They're a team that were better than the Kansas City team. I told everyone this before the game started. The Kansas City Chiefs had a good team and the best quarterback. The Philadelphia Eagles had the best team. The Philadelphia Eagles, I've been saying it and saying it, they're the best roster in football. And everyone now is finally noticing. They're not only the best roster in football, they're the best team in football. They're aligned from the owner to the water boy and water girl. Most people wouldn't even know what the Philadelphia Eagles owner looked like. Howie Roseman. These guys are all aligned. The owner trusted Howie Roseman to do what he needed to do. Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman, coaching staff, he got them what they needed. All they needed was to execute. All they needed to do was to execute. Even Kellen Moore, we don't even realize what we're seeing. Even Kellen Moore, Nisi said it last night. Kellen Moore showed us what it looks like when an organization gets behind you, when an organization embraces you. We do this so much in Dallas. We will talk about what someone is not in Dallas rather than talking about what they are in Dallas. Man, we dismantle quarterbacks and coaches. We dismantle them. And don't get me wrong, sometimes deservedly so in certain areas. But I think we missed the bigger picture. We're not aligned. And we need alignment. And we're not going to win without alignment. Get right or get left. He said, salute you, G. Same page. Your insight is top tier without any fandom or emotion. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Get right. Kevin Howard, what's going on with you? Y'all and Bryant did. Kelvin Bryant has put his top 5 things. I would be very interested to know you guys' top 5 things too. Carl Brown, what's going on with you? King K, what's going on? King K, you know what? The funny thing is, I won't necessarily say he's elite because I've never called him elite. You can if you want to. No problem. What Jalen Hurts is, and I've said it and I keep saying it, he's lethal. Because he does so many things, not the best, but good enough. He's not the best thrower of the football, but he's good enough. He's not the best running quarterback in the league, but he's good enough. And then when you pair that with 2 good to great wide receivers, a good to great tight end, a great offensive line, an elite running back, a good to great play caller, an elite defensive line, an elite pair of safeties, a good to great cornerback. The linebacker, I don't even know who the linebackers are. I mean, this is how good this Philadelphia Eagles team is. Most people couldn't even name you the people on this Philadelphia Eagle team. You can name people on the Cowboys, I know because we follow them, but a lot of times you know them because they're all, we put them out there. Oh, whoever makes all pro on the Cowboys, everybody knows it. All I know is the Eagles won the Super Bowl. That's all I know. Because of their attitude as it applies to their team. Katie boy, what's going on with you? The Eagles winning the Super Bowl should make the Cowboys approach free agency different if they really want to win. And we're about to talk about what you're talking about here. The Cowboys approach. That's what I want to deal with. Y'all put y'all 5 things. Cottage Shaw Sports, what's going on? Richard, what's going on with you? Good to see you. Tyrell, good to see you. Miss Matrix, I think I said it, but again, what's going on? Skull Unknown, what's up with you? And of course, my man Jared Thomas, what's going on? Let's get into this. So I have 5 things. 5 things. And y'all compile y'all 5 things also. 5 things, or if you want 3 or 2, whatever you want to do. Y'all compile y'all 5 things. I'm just going to tell you 5 things. 5 things that I came up with that I think the Cowboys need to do to get on the road to beating the Eagles and going to the Super Bowl. Darren Woodson has said some things that have really got my spidey senses tingling. Darren Woodson said that winning begins, and so if the Cowboys want to get back to winning, it begins right now. The Super Bowl was yesterday. There's no point in looking back. The Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl. End of story. There's nothing that the Cowboys can do to change it. There's nothing that the Cowboy fans hating the Philadelphia Eagles can do to change it. Bottom line, Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl. We didn't even make the playoffs. We were injury riddled. Not only were we injury riddled, it really didn't matter if we were injury riddled, to be honest with you, because in the grand scheme of things, we didn't look good before the injuries. And what happened to the Cowboys, I'm telling you, the reality of the 2024 Cowboys, the story of the 2024 season, we actually lost in the offseason. Our losing began in the offseason. And let me replay the story. We brought in a we gave up a fourth round draft pick for a former number one quarterback, as in Trey Lance. We brought him in, I'm thinking it was 2023. And then in 2024, rather than the story being the Cowboys getting ready for a new season, rather than it being Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb continuing in the onslaught they did in the 2023 season, rather than it being the defense getting ready after Dan Quinn has went on to another team, and now we have Mike Zimmer back. We got Mike Zimmer in here. Now we need to be getting ready for the upcoming season. You know what we spent our offseason doing? We spent our offseason talking about money. Yeah, we spent our offseason talking about money. Talking about CeeDee Lamb's contract, which kept him out of training camp. So if Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb have developed this great chemistry, how do they keep it without playing and practicing together? Then we continued to talk about money, because then it was about the Dak Prescott extension. And Dak Prescott, unlike the rest, Dak Prescott didn't hold out. He's continuing to play. And then we did something else that didn't make any sense. We dedicated an entire preseason to Trey Lance. We don't even get the quarterback signed until the morning before the first game. We spent the entire preseason talking about Trey Lance. And Cowboy fans some Cowboy fans wishing that Trey Lance was going to be the starting quarterback. We lost the 2024 season in the offseason and in the preseason. The minds of the Cowboys players could not have been on winning. How many players we let go from that previous season because of the Green Bay loss? We got an ownership that couldn't get over the Green Bay loss. They couldn't get over it. And because they couldn't get over the Green Bay loss, they basically put a plan in place to blow up the team. Let the head coach be on the last year of his deal. All the coaches on basically last year of their deals. Jerry tried to create this sense of urgency by not having contracts. It's amazing to me that the Philadelphia Eagles didn't do that. The Philadelphia Eagles, rather than making their offseason about money, they made their offseason about winning. They went and got Saquon Barkley. They made great moves in the draft. They were making moves, and I told y'all this. They made moves not to win the NFC East. They made moves to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. They had in their minds to get back to the Super Bowl and beat Patrick Mahomes. And when you build a team to beat the Kansas City Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Steve Spagnuolo, Matt Nagy, when you're talking about beating that team, Travis Kelce, those guys, that is a monumental task. And that's exactly what they set out to do. I think we set our aspirations way too small. Our aspirations in our offseason and preseason was, let's see if Trey Lance can push Dak Prescott out the door. Okay, he didn't do it. Okay, now our aspirations are, okay, can we get to the playoffs with this team? Very small. I mean, we didn't even make it about winning the Super Bowl. No one heard Jerry Jones say anything about the Super Bowl the whole season. He's talking about the Super Bowl now. He didn't talk about the Super Bowl. No. So we lost the Super Bowl. We lost the playoffs. We tanked a season in the offseason. Winning begins in the offseason. So the question becomes for the Dallas Cowboys, what are they going to do? Because it's got to start now. So let me give you the first of my 5 things. And I'm going to go to the comments and I'm going to see if some of y'all, like Kelvin, I want to see if y'all have put together some lists. But let me give you my first one. My first one is the Dallas Cowboys, they need to finalize the coaching staff. I know everyone's excited about the coaching staff. I'm actually tired of hearing about I'm actually tired of hearing about the coaching staff. Okay, you got the coach. You're getting the coaching staff. Get them all. Hurry up. Hurry up and get the coaching staff. I know we're saying we're putting together a great coaching staff. I agree, but it's not a championship coaching staff yet because it hasn't won a championship. So can we go ahead? Can we go ahead and just get every last coaching spot filled? I thought we were almost done, but obviously not because we continue to hire coaches. Nobody even knows what Ken Dorsey is going to do. Maybe Ken Dorsey is going to be the quarterback's coach. Okay, whatever he's going to be, let's get all the coaches hired, please. Please. I'm tired of the Cowboy fans. I mean, as a Cowboy fan, right now, the only thing we have to look forward to is the coaching staff. Oh, coaches, yeah, okay, great. Coaching staff, great. Get it, and come on. Get the coaching staff and come on. I'm tired of talking about the coaching staff. Get the coaching staff solidified. Straight up, get this thing solidified. I'm tired of hearing about the coaching staff. I am. I want them to get this doggone coaching staff done. Get it done and get it done now. There are too many other things the team needs to be looking at. Let me go down. I'm going to read some of you guys' comments here. Welcome, Carlos Phillips. What's going on? The Queen in the crib. What's going on? Robert M. What's going on? Good to see y'all. Let me move up a little bit, see where I want to start. Let me start about right in here. Let me start with Jared. Jared says, my 5 things are. Jared said, wide receiver depth. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Fantastic. That is great. We need to. Run stoppers, defensive tackles. Yes. Yes. Get a run stopper, middle linebacker. Yes. Beef up the whole line. And get upgrades at safety. So the question becomes, can we do what Jared just mentioned? Can we do all of that? Can we do all of that in one off season? Possible. I think the wide receiver depth thing, easy. Go on the draft and get the best wide receiver available. Run stopper. I got a funny feeling they're going to do skill position in the first two draft places. And I want them to do that. First and second, running back, wide receiver, pick your choice how you want to do it. But they could probably get a good defensive tackle at third. I'm going to do my mock draft. I'm going to do my first mock draft this week for all 7 rounds. Get a run stopper, middle linebacker. Could do that. Could possibly do that too. Fill that through free agencies, depending upon what's going to be available. Beef up the O-line. I think the O-line is pretty much already there. I saw something today on the Landry hat about some players they could get. I'm gonna see if I can pull that up. I think they could do that too. The issue is, Jared, upgrades at safety. One of those safeties is already on the team. I think the Cowboys need to use and just let this season be the season to see what Marquise Bell is. Let's see what Marquise Bell actually is. I have a feeling that Jerry is going to get Shiloh Sanders. I think he's going to wind up getting Shiloh Sanders. There's a 5th round draft grade on Shiloh Sanders. I just got a strange feeling it's going to be hard for Jerry Jones to resist if Deion Sanders' son is there in the 5th round. I think he will get Shiloh Sanders as a safety in the 5th round. So those things are doable. Jerry says one thing I know is that if we get those 5 things and really beef up our roster, Dak can win a Super Bowl for us. I believe so too. Let me go a little further. Yeah, Kitty Boy again says the Eagles winning the Super Bowl should make the Cowboys approach free agency. Because in the past, Kitty Boy, in the past, Stephen Jones has said winning the Super Bowl does not begin in free agency. That's not true. It's obviously not true. Because a lot of these teams who even the Super Bowl teams every year, it's like we can pick out some free agent that they got and go, gosh, man, this guy really helped out. They help. They really do. Get it right. Get right or get left. He said football hasn't changed. Have a dedicated run game and bring pressure with 4 on the defensive side of the ball. You can compete with anyone with that formula. Now get right. I was having a discussion with Boss Cowboy. Shout out to Boss Cowboy. He's a great contributor to this community. But one of the things I was telling Boss, he was talking about that last night was a clinic on quarterback pressure. And I disagreed. We've used this quarterback pressure argument with Micah Parsons. Quarterback pressure is not what we saw last night. What we saw was a defensive line that could get quarterback pressure with 4 linemen. And it wasn't just one of them. It was all 4 of them. Man, Patrick Mahomes had nowhere to run. Where was he going to run? There was nowhere to run for Patrick Mahomes. I want you to think about this. I've seen Patrick Mahomes. I've seen Patrick Mahomes against teams when they have one good pass rusher. He typically gets out of that stuff. He can run around, pirouette, and he's gone. I've seen Patrick Mahomes even maybe dealing with 2 pass rushers. Okay, he can deal with 2. You know what Patrick Mahomes couldn't deal with? Patrick Mahomes couldn't deal with 4 pass rushers. He couldn't deal with them. He could not deal with 4 pass rushers. He couldn't deal. There was nothing he could do. Nothing. I don't care what anyone says. It was not one guy, because we only got one guy that typically gets quarterback pressure, Micah Parsons. Problem is with the one guy we have, he's undersized. And once you put the larger tackles against the one guy we have, it is easy. As I told Boss, you can scheme and block. You can scheme and block one guy. That's easy. One guy, you got him. It's no problem. You can block one guy. You know what the problem is with the Eagles? They're not just one guy. They are not just one guy. The Philadelphia Eagles front is bananas. Their front is bananas. The Cowboys not only need to figure out something on the defensive line, they got to figure out this offensive line, because I'm telling you, that defensive line for the Philadelphia Eagles is a horror movie. It's a horror movie. I don't know any other way to put it. It's a literal horror movie. There's no other way to explain it. I mean, just look at this roster. What do you do with this? What do you do with this? These guys were insanity last night. What do you do? If Patrick Mahomes tried to run to the left, what was he going to do? They would get him to the right. They were getting him up the middle. And this kid, Josh Sweat, was wreaking havoc. Josh Sweat was wreaking havoc on that line. What do you do with this defensive line? We're not talking about one guy that can get pressure. We're talking about four guys. How do you scheme against four guys that can get pressure? I don't know if there's a scheme. You're already 5-on-4. Okay, you're going to keep the tight end. Okay, now you're 6-on-4. You're going to keep in the running back to do maybe you get him to do some chipping as he's on his way out the back. I mean, so you got what? 7-on-4? And now you're sending 4 in the coverage? And now you're sending 4 in the coverage on 7 in coverage? What do? I'm excited about Matt Eberflus because Matt Eberflus, if I'm not mistaken, he likes to run the same type of defense. Rush 4, drop 7. Did I not tell y'all? These are the defenses designed to stop Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott, Josh Allen, these quarterbacks like Joe Burrow who can beat quarterback pressure. I don't care about quarterback pressure. Now, if you can tell me the result of quarterback pressure, don't just throw quarterback pressure. Tell me what the result is. Let me tell you what the result was. It wasn't just quarterback pressure that got Patrick Mahomes. It was sacks that got Patrick Mahomes. And because they sacked Patrick Mahomes, the quarterback pressure felt even like more pressure than it was. If you're a quarterback and once they start knocking you on the ground, you start seeing ghosts. They don't even have to knock you down no more. Now you're seeing ghosts. Now you're anticipating hits. Now you're looking for hits. Now everything you're doing, it's not just the pressure, it's the mental pressure. You want to know why Patrick Mahomes looked the way he looked last night? It wasn't quarterback pressure from one guy, because we want to use this for our own guy. That's the only reason why we want to mention that. But we don't have a guy even. Micah Parsons in the big games, he doesn't get that pressure. Because in the big games, you have the better tackles. You have the better linemen. They eat up a guy like Micah Parsons. They eat him up. This is why in the big games, there's no knock on Micah Parsons. He's strong, he's powerful, he's quick, but he's undersized. So the bigger lines, the bigger tackles, they eat him up. They can scheme on him. Okay, put a tight end on his side. Oh, let the running back chip him. Put the tight end in motion. Let him chip him on his way out on the route. You can scheme against one pass rusher. There is no scheme for 4 pass rushers. Tell me what it is. There's no scheme for it. You cripple yourself trying to scheme against 4 down linemen that can stop the run and get to the quarterback. You cripple yourself. The only way to beat a line that can rush 4 is to have an offensive line that can block them. It's the only way. If your line can't block them, you're like Kansas City last night. They couldn't block them. There was nothing they could do. They couldn't block them. They tried everything in the book, y'all. They couldn't block them. They tried the running back thing. They tried some of the tight end stuff. They couldn't block them. How do you block 4 men that can rush the passer? I'm excited if Matt Eberflus, but what Matt Eberflus is going to require, y'all, it is going to require personnel. And my question is, will Micah Parsons buy in? Can Micah Parsons play in a defense to where you're only rushing 4? Being an undersized defensive end. Because that means not only is he going to have to rush the passer, he's going to have to have containment on the left side because he typically lines up on the left, I think it is. So he'll be responsible not only for rushing the passer, he'll be responsible for left side containment. He'll have to be more active in the run game. Is he ready for that? Because I say if he's not ready for that, then the Cowboys need to look at moving him back to linebacker. I would love to see Micah Parsons at linebacker, middle linebacker. Let him be the middle linebacker. Can he do it? I think the issue with Micah Parsons is all he wants to do is rush the passer and nothing else. And then that brings in the problem again of the buy-in. Because I don't think Micah Parsons bought in last year to Mike Zimmer. He didn't buy in until late in the season. Will he buy into Matt Eberflus? Will he buy into the scheme? I hope these guys can get him to buy in. I hope he can get him to buy in. Let me read these super chats, and then I'm going to go further down the list. JNY Blue, what's going on? Appreciate the super chat. Yes, sir. Push the button. Push that like button. Push that subscribe button if you haven't. Become a member if you haven't. Byron, appreciate you. Yeah. I saw somebody else say this today, too. Either the Super Bowl was rigged or everyone is tired of looking at Taylor Swift and the Chiefs. No. But I think there's another alternative, and I think it's the truth. I said it before the game started. The Philadelphia Eagles were better than the Kansas City Chiefs. They were better. They were better before the kickoff. I told everyone, and I kept telling everyone, y'all do not understand how good this team is. See, we'll always talk about a player. Oh, CD is better than A.J. Brown, okay? Unfortunately, CeeDee Lamb is not on the best team. A.J. Brown happens to be on the best team. He's not the best wide receiver in the league. He's on the best team. I said it last night. You can tell me anything you want to. Would I rather be the best quarterback on a good team, or would I rather be a good quarterback on the best team? I want to be the good quarterback on the best team because I'm more than likely going to win. Because at the end of the day, it's probably not even going to come down to my play on whether or not. I want y'all to think about how great it must have felt to be Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts finished the Super Bowl in fairy tale fashion on the bench. I know some people dream of a fourth quarter comeback, a touchdown with 15 seconds to go. Not me. My cousin watched the game with me last night, and I told him from the get-go, he said, we were talking because I was saying again Philadelphia's going to win the game, and I said, I want to see a blowout. He's like, you don't even want it to be competitive? Nope. No. I don't want to see a competitive game. When it's my team, the Eagles are not my team. But let's take the Dallas Cowboys, for instance. I don't want competitive games. I don't know. Maybe I'm just built different. I don't want competitive games. I want my team to slaughter every team in front of them. Some people say, oh, it was so boring. They won the game by 40. Not me. I'm excited. Because when I have a team that's slaughtering teams, I already know. We're on our way. Because there's nobody that can, there's literally hardly anybody that can deal with us. Barring injury, no one's going to hardly beat us. You slaughter all competition in front of you. All competition. That's what you want to do. What the Eagles did last night, that's exactly what you want to do. I don't care what anyone's talking about, all this competitive stuff. Oh, no, I don't care about that. To finish the game on the bench, it's a fairy tale as a quarterback. It's a fairy tale. King K, last 3 years, Hurts always outplays the elite quarterbacks when they play head-to-head. That's not conjecture. That's fact. Jalen Hurts actually outplayed Patrick Mahomes in the first Super Bowl. He flat out outplayed him. The only thing Hurts was lacking was a defense. What did Howie Roseman do? He not only went and got him a defense, but he also went and got him some insurance. Saquon Barkley. Jalen, don't worry about it. If they try to focus on you, we got a running back that they're not going to be able to, they're going to pick their poison. Either you or the running back. Well, last night it was obvious Kansas City chose the running back. Kansas City made it their business to stop one Saquon Barkley. The problem is they forgot about Jalen Hurts, and I still say you can't stop both Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. And this is the issue the Cowboys need to fix. The Green Bay Packers last year, they did the same thing that the Philadelphia Eagles did this year. The Green Bay Packers came against the Cowboys rushing 4 down linemen, dropping 7 in coverage. They knew the Cowboys couldn't run the ball and only had 1 wide receiver. So you just tie the quarterback hand behind his back. That's all you do. Dak Prescott is great, but if you take away CeeDee Lamb, what were the other wide receivers going to do? Yeah, they can catch, but they're not playmaking wide receivers. The Cowboys need another playmaking wide receiver. They need another playmaker. Kevin Howard, here's his first point. He says, first thing is to get our defense right because we're going to need it to see the Eagles looking scary. Yeah, but not only that, but we better make sure that old line is intact. Robert M., just one thing, hire a GM. Robert M., let me add something to what you just said. I can't take credit for this. I heard someone say this today, and I thought it was genius. I think it might have been Mike Fisher. So Jerry and Stephen Jones, because they're owners, GM, I don't know. They wearing like 19 different hats. Howie Roseman has one job. He puts 100% in one job. All Howie Roseman does is player personnel. How can I get this team better? Communicating with the coach, coaches, probably even talking to players, talking to the owner, on the phone with other teams, finding out what's available, looking at their rosters, looking at tape on their rosters. I mean, I'm sure he's got a whole team that helps him do some of this stuff, but it still has to come down to him and looking and them convincing. Howie Roseman puts 100% into being the GM of the Philadelphia Eagles. If Jerry Jones is wearing 5 hats, Stephen Jones is wearing 5 hats, so how much time can they put into the personnel of the Dallas Cowboys? I'm sure they got Will McClay doing his due diligence. He's probably putting 100% into it. But as Brian Broaddus told us, but he's in between Jerry and Steven, what they think, what they want to do. He's in between the coach. He's in between all these different things. It would be better if there was one player, one GM that really did all of this. Too many Chiefs and not enough Indians. You need that one GM. Manning hasn't proved himself in college and acting like he's the next great. You're talking about Arch. Well, one of the reasons is because this is what the media does. He's hearing all the media hype. Not to mention he's a Manning. Feels like he's the heir apparent. Skull Unknown says Dallas isn't getting enough to beat this Eagles team. They are young and ready for another. Jerry's fake all in again. Coaching can't go play on the field. Skull Unknown. So the issue with me is, and this is why for me, number one, get these coaches solidified, because I'm tired of all the hoopla around the coaches. Okay, great. We got some great coaches coming in. I'm with that. Now, as far as us getting enough to beat the Eagles, now I want us to realize something. Even when the Eagles were good, even in their Super Bowl campaign, even when they were good, Dak Prescott and this team still went upside their head. Dak Prescott and this team, I want y'all to think about this. Even with that Super Bowl team, the Dallas Cowboys still went upside their head. This Dallas Cowboys team has been winning in spite of a lot of dumbness that's been going on in this franchise. And that's the one thing I can give them credit for. I mean, winning in the Mike McCarthy era, we're going to look back on this as more things continue to develop. We're going to look back on this stuff and go, wow, they won in spite of that mess. They did. They absolutely won in spite of a lot of mess. This Cowboys team, for all intents and purposes, as many things as we say we haven't liked about it over the last few years, they still been winning. They've still won. They've still been at the top. Okay, so it was the 2022 season. Now, I want you to think about this. The Philadelphia Eagles, they went to the Super Bowl in 2022. And that roster was pretty good then. So I want you to look at the two meetings they had. The Dallas Cowboys went down to Philly. This was the game without Dak Prescott. This was the game that everybody realized that Cooper Rush, at least those of us with the right mindset, we understood then that Cooper Rush was not the mythological unicorn that everybody had made him into. No, he got humbled by the Philadelphia Eagles, 3 interceptions. And the Cowboys, the Philadelphia Eagles in this season, when they went to the Super Bowl, they beat the Eagles 26-17 without Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott comes back, and with the thumb injury, feast your eyes on this. This was a Super Bowl season, 2022. We're not giving Dak Prescott and these guys, and I don't even think then the team was better than the Eagles. I don't think the team was better than the Eagles. We just don't give we don't acknowledge enough as a fan base that our quarterback is more than good enough. We beat them 40-34. We beat them 40-34 in a Super Bowl season. Look at this. This is Dak Prescott in that game. Now, Gardner Minshew is in that game for the Eagles, but they put up 34. I want you to think about this. They put up 34 points on our defense. Well, Dak Prescott put up 40 points on theirs. 27-35, 347 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. I mean, Dak Prescott has owned the Eagles. I mean, we don't, our quarterback he's not just average. That's the part we don't get. And he's actually covered up some of the blemishes on this team. And so for us, we may not realize it. We are not in a rebuilding stage. We are recalibrating. quarterback, wide receiver. We got some pieces on the line, got some pieces on the D-line, got some pieces, secondary, got some pieces, safety, got some pieces, linebacker. We'll see how it looks when Sam Williams comes back. We got pieces all over the place. What we're going to be doing in free agency and in the draft is filling in those spots. We're going to be one of the youngest teams in the league come this spring. We're going to be one of the youngest teams in the league, especially depending upon what they do in free agency. But the Cowboys have been able to beat the Eagles even in a Super Bowl year. The Cowboys were able to beat the Eagles. And even before then, Dak Prescott is on the NFC East. The Cowboys are not that far off as it pertains to getting back competitive. And I think the thing about the Cowboys we got to accept is, and I love we're talking about personnel, but I think the first thing they're going to have to do is, or one of the first things, is that they're going to have to buy into. They're going to have to buy into the plan. Because if they don't buy into the plan, it doesn't matter who they get in the draft. They have to buy into the plan. They have to. Skull unknown. Yeah, Mahomes folded. Imagine Dak. Oh, yeah. Goes for any team. Goes for any team. Yeah, for sure. That's why I said the Cowboys better figure out that offensive line, too. Because that Philadelphia Eagles pass rush is second to none, man. That thing is insanity. I'm telling you, it's a horror movie. It's a horror movie. I bet you Patrick Mahomes is disingenuous, though. He said he let the fan base down. I'm sorry. Patrick Mahomes, you have nothing to apologize about, bruh. Nobody was doing nothing with that offensive line the Eagles had last night. Nobody was doing nothing with them. They were going to get the same treatment or worse. AJ Medell, appreciate the super chat. Get Dak. Let me read that again. Hold on. He said, get Dak and O-line and defense. Guarantee you, very least, you get an NFC Championship game. You know what? I'm in agreement with you there, too. And I don't think they're very far off, AJ, from what we're talking about. The defense. Well, the O-line first. I think they're almost there with the offensive line. They just got to get all these guys back healthy. Do something in free agency. Do whatever they're going to do in the draft. And then see what you get once spring training starts. I think they got the pieces. And I'm telling y'all this. I think we really need to think about the Zach Martin thing. I know people are like pushing back on Zach Martin. We really need to consider this thing about Zach Martin. If Zach Martin is healthy, I'm talking about fully healthy, and we're seeing the explosiveness and him knocking people off the line again, do we really want to shake Zach Martin? Do we really want to shake him? Zach Martin, if we keep Zach Martin, whoever we think could take his place, maybe, we let him marinate another year. Or can he beat Zach Martin out? I know the Cowboys would probably be biased if Zach Martin stays. I don't know if they could take somebody beating out Zach Martin, but I just think Zach Martin at 85%. I don't know many people who could beat him out. I think they're almost there on the line, but I do think on defense they got some work to do on the line. Because one of the big questions we have to answer already is, what are we doing about Oso Odigizua? Huge question on the line. Huge question. Get right or get left. Appreciate you. And here's where I'm going right here. Culture change. Because this is the thing that I think that is plaguing the Cowboys. They've been able to win in a bad culture. So what happens if we put them in a good culture? This is where I'm excited about Brian Schottenheimer, because they all keep talking about communication, continuity, culture change, communication. He's communicating. He's brought communication between all three levels: front office, coaching, players. This is what they love about Shotty. continuity. He's not going to bring a whole lot of change, where they have to flip the whole thing upside down. So they're saying he's not doing that. In actuality, he's bringing some continuity where everything is just like, okay, everything is fitting together. It's all comfortability in a sense. And the culture. Instilling, and the big thing is, you can't instill the culture of winning as much as you install the culture of accountability first, because that's what Darren Woodson was talking about. You have to install a culture of accountability. Michael Irvin talked about that when hiring Brian Schottenheimer. That was one of his biggest concerns. You've already been with the team. Can you tell the team, okay, we're getting together in a motel on Saturday and all the team go to the stadium together on Sunday? Can you do that as a coach? And you've already been there in the old system. He's talking about those things. Can you change the culture and create accountability? Because if you can create accountability, if everybody's bought into the plan and you hold everybody accountable for the plan and you hold everyone accountable for performance on the field, now you got something. Now you have something. And so that's the very thing. You're right on, get right or get left. See, that's the thing they was talking about. Culture change. And I am so ready for them to solidify this doggone coaching staff. I'm just, hey man, everybody, yeah, okay, I got it. We got another coaching. I'm ready to start talking about players now. I'm ready to start talking about players now. Who are the players that we're going to get? Yeah, he's AJ said coaching staff. He said coaching staff, field host free agency, draft BPA, and draft best player available and lock in from top to bottom. Yes, owner to the ball boy and ball girl. That's my top 5. Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Love it. Because in the grand scheme of things, I think that's where we need to be focusing. We have to focus on that culture, everyone. That culture. Top Gun, he said wide receiver, running back in the draft. To me, that's got to be 1 and 2. Run stopper, yes, for sure. Possibly 3rd round. Linebacker, cornerback, and safety. 4, 5, and 6. Also need to play in free agency to see if you can get some immediate. I think at cornerback, yes, maybe draft a cornerback or do draft a cornerback. I think they need to play in free agency. A guy like, I don't know who's going to be available. Let's see here. I wonder, I think when we bought in Stephon Gilmore, I thought that was one of the best things we did. I do. I thought that was one of the best things we did. So we may have to, because of one, Trayvon Diggs, and I don't think we need to be depending upon Trayvon Diggs. I'm pretty concerned about Trayvon Diggs and what he has going on with that knee. I mean, when you start talking about cartilage issues, bone-on-bone issues, that's scary. That's scary. Just praying for him to get healthy and just don't really know. Just scary. So, these are the top 7 cornerbacks. Speaking on cornerbacks, it looks like, at least according to this list, these are the 7 top cornerbacks, with other ones being Isaac Yodom, Brandon Stevens, Mike Hilton, Jonathan Jones, Dante Jackson, Stephon Gilmore. I would love Stephon Gilmore back in the building. I mean, I would. I thought Stephon Gilmore was almost locked down. I would love Stephon Gilmore back in the building. I love the veteran leadership that Stephon Gilmore brings. They got Carlton Davis of the Detroit Lions. Looks like he is going to be available. It said, looks like he's been injured a lot. He's never played a full season in his career. Okay. Byron Murphy, Minnesota Vikings. He was listed all the way up at 3 on one of our ballots. Pro Bowl nod in 2024. He's coming off a 2-year, $17.5 million contract with Minnesota after 4 seasons with the Cardinals. At 27, this dude is going to get paid. Yep. He would have to be a 3 or 4 year piece. Rasul Douglas turns 30 right before the 2025 season. He's a solid veteran opting option coming off a 3-year, $21 million deal. Y'all tell me about him. I don't know a lot about Rasul Douglas. Asante Samuel Jr., former second-round pick, hurt his shoulder in practice leading up to week 1 and played through it for a month. He missed the rest of the season with an injury. When healthy, he had 2 interceptions, at least 11 passes defended. I would definitely love to kick the tires on Asante Samuel Jr. if he's available. I thought it was pretty good. Not only that, he has great pedigree. Paulson Adebo, the New Orleans Saints. No one had Adebo outside of their top 3. Turns 26 this offseason. Played in 7 games after breaking his femur. Former 3rd-round pick, having a nice season with 3 picks. With the injury, it could complicate his free agency, but he should be fully healthy. DJ Reed, New York Jets. Reed only received votes at the 1 or 2 spot from our folks as he looks for the potential 4th team of his career. Okay, a little bit scary. Okay. Turned 28 during the 2024 season. His chance to cash in one more time following his 3-year, $33 million contract. He started 14 games with 11 passes defended. And then we got Kavarius Ward. Okay, he squeaked into the top spot. He only played 12 games in 2024, defending 7 passes, 54 tackles. He's coming off of a massive 3-year, $40 million contract. Man, he is probably going to be, he is going to be sought after. Because when you talk about the San Francisco 49ers, you're gonna talk about him. I think I saw No Cap. I think I saw No Cap in here. No Cap, let me know if you're in here about Kavarius Ward. And there will be others in here too. Man, we got Jordan Lewis. We're gonna get him tied. I don't know though. They may let Jordan Lewis go. But I definitely think the Cowboys are going to need another cornerback due to Trayvon Diggs. If they want to be competitive, they're going to have to get a cornerback. And I would say get that one in free agency. Gabe Guerrero, what's going on? He said, priority number 2, sign your own free agents. We're going to get there in a moment because I'm with you on that. That want to keep before free agency starts next month. Number 1 is Micah. You've been looking at my list. That way you know what budget is and what you can spend moving forward. Yes, sir. I like that. There he is, my man, No Cap. What's going on? No Cap. He said the 11th pick, 2026. He said, and Debo for Parsons, would you do it, man? Nah. No. As much as I talk about Michael Parsons running his mouth, no. Let me tell you, man, I'm not, if I'm the Cowboys, I'm not taking anything less for Michael Parsons than 3 draft picks. 2 of them got to be number 1. 2 of them have to be number 1. I got to get your number 1 this year, your number 1 next year, and a number 2 in whatever one of those seasons you choose. Now, I'm not letting go of Michael Parsons for chump change. I'll bring in somebody to help him with his maturity before I let him go like that. Now, I need him to I don't want to get rid of Michael Parsons. I need Michael Parsons to mature. Let me go to a couple of other ones here. Oh, man, Zortad, he said, put in Kenny Pickett for the final snaps was almost like the Birds trolling the Chiefs. Boy, that was crazy, wasn't it? Let Jalen Hurts finish this thing on the bench. God, that's crazy. Fairy tale. Man, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Boy. Hey, but I'm telling you, No Cap. When you see, and we're talking, I'm just laughing at people talking about quarterback pressure. Nah, bruh. It wasn't just quarterback pressure. They put that man on the ground. The pressure for, let me tell you, the pressure for, and you don't see this with this guy often. The pressure for Patrick Mahomes was in his head. I mean, after getting put down on the ground that many times, man, the pressure got to the point it was in his head. This dude had, even if he had time, he didn't think he had time. That's how bad it was. Even if he had time, he didn't think he had time. That's how ferocious that Philadelphia Eagles defense was. And people talking about pressure. Man, let me show you what pressure look like. This is what pressure look like. When you get sacked 6 times, this is what pressure really is. Patrick Mahomes normally eats pressure for lunch. 1 or 2 guys chasing Patrick Mahomes, nothing. 4 guys chasing him was nothing he could do. Kansas City Chiefs offensive line, man, I don't know. That offensive line was Swiss cheese. They could not stop these guys from getting to Patrick Mahomes. And when you can sack the quarterback 6 times, and then the pressure that you are getting are almost sacks too, they're not just chasing him on these quarterback pressures. They're getting him on the ground, as in he's barely getting the ball off before these throws. They were getting their hands on him, man. That's a different level of quarterback pressure. We're not talking about Micah Parsons getting 10 pressures during a game but not getting a sack. That's not what we're talking about. I can scheme for that. No problem. I can scheme for that. I could even scheme for Osa Odigizua and Micah Parsons. Cowboys, remember how they got a lot of their sacks. Mike Zimmer disguised he disguised his blitzes. You're thinking he's bringing 4, he brings 5. You think he's bringing 4, he brings 6. You're thinking he's bringing 5, he brings 6. That's what Zimmer does. Philadelphia Eagles, I'm telling you, this is the way I love to play. They were straight up and down with no special effects. Them boys lined up and said, this is what it is. We rushing 4. Stop us. Man, when you can roll up on a team like that, boy, you take all of their confidence. Man, that doggone Kansas City Chiefs offensive line had no chance. Their confidence level had to be lower than low. Lower than low. Boy, I'm telling you, I would love to have a defensive line like that. You line up and just tell people, hey, man, we rushing 4 all day long. You don't even have to worry about no blitzes. You can't even stop us. Boy, that's nasty defense right there. Whew. That's nasty, nasty defense. That's a horror movie. James Manhattan, Bri B, what's going on? I see you in there. James Manhattan said, we need players that wants to buy into this team. There it is. And it's serious about winning games. The buy-in. Darren Woodson got my mind with the buy-in because it made me realize something. I said this about Micah Parsons. He said they had just gotten Mike Zimmer's defense in week 12? You're not bought in. You're not bought in. I don't think the team was bought into Mike McCarthy as the coach and the play caller. I think they liked him. I think they liked the man. I don't think they were too enamored with the coaching, though, because Dak Prescott was complaining about it out the gate. Dak Prescott was talking about practice the whole season almost. Dak was saying, there are some things that I'm seeing in practice that are translating on the field. Guys are not practicing hard. They're not in the playbook. What are they doing when they're off the field? Dak was saying all these things. Anthony Ferguson, what's going on? He says, do you think Dak has become the 3rd best quarterback in the NFC since the success of Jalen and Jaden Daniels? He's still the best quarterback. Nope. He's still the best quarterback. The Cowboys are not falling behind because of the quarterback. They're falling behind because of the culture, and they've fallen behind because of the personnel. Our personnel isn't good enough. Our personnel isn't good enough because our culture stinks. We don't have a full-time GM. We don't even have a part-time GM. He's a quarter-time GM. Any other GM would be fired for spending 20% of his time being the GM. But we got an owner who's the owner, what, 60% of the time? He's the GM, what, 10 to 15% of the time? He's the team marketer. I don't know. We might have to back off the owner. He's the team marketer 25% of the time. I mean, these guys have themselves so spread out. I just don't know what they can. I mean, they are really going to have to align, like they're saying. They got to be aligned to do what they're talking about. Kevin Bryant, he's got another one. He says, change our mentality. Yes. Change the culture. More excuse. No excuse. Everyone buys in to excel in all areas. Build a winning culture. 5, when we win as a team. When we lose as a team. I loved everything you said. You know why? Because that's how you do it. We got to get the mental thing. We got to get the mental thing right. We got the player thing right in some of the major areas. We got the player thing right. Why? Because we've been winning in spite of not having the things we're talking about. We've been amassing 12 wins in spite of the things we're talking about and have been on the verge of 13 wins. It's our mental game that's broken. It's our mental game that's broken. Dak's still the best quarterback in the NFC East. And I would dare say he's the best quarterback. I mean, who's better than Dak Prescott in the NFC? But if you start asking me whose teams are better in the NFC, oh, then we fall down the chart. Some could argue Matthew Stafford only, maybe. I'm not taking Matthew Stafford over Dak Prescott. I know some of you would. But you're not going to name more than one or two. But again, what we watched in the Philadelphia Eagles, most people would argue with you that he's not even top 10, Jalen Hurts. They'd argue with you he's not top 10. All I know is he's somewhere still partying with an MVP trophy. That's a quarterback you want to play with. He said defense win championships, and he mentioned all these different positions of how good they played. Coaches, I mean, that's a mentality thing, guys. That's a mentality thing. That's what we're missing. Kadishaw Sports, he says, number 3, free agency needs. Number 4, draft best player available. Number 5, let coaches coach and players preparation. You know what? I'm going to tell you something, Kadishaw. I see something strange in this Jones' operation right now. They want to be so right on Brian Schottenheimer. I think they're going to let Brian Schottenheimer do some things they have not let anybody do in a long time. I don't think Brian Schottenheimer is hiring the coaches, but I think he's having a lot of say-so in some of these coaches. They are building him. I told y'all, they would have had to do the same thing with Deion Sanders. They're insulating him. They're insulating Brian Schottenheimer. And I applaud them for it. They're insulating him. They are insulating him with the best coaching staff they can. And it makes perfect sense why. Brian Schottenheimer is a first-time coach. He's a first-time coach. He doesn't have a staff that he's actually won championships with. So they're, in some respects, they're letting him do some. And then on the other end, they're getting some. I'm sure there's input from Will and other people. They're just trying to, how can we insulate him with all the best pieces? Mike McCarthy comes in. He's, I'm a Super Bowl winning coach. I can bring in my own guys. They let him bring a few of his homeboys. But they also, you could tell, didn't trust him like that. And they didn't let him do a lot of the things they're letting Shotty do. It seems like to me, they're about to give Shotty some leeway that they haven't given anyone since probably Bill Parcells, Jimmy Johnson. They got a lot of confidence. And I think a part of it is this. And it's selfish, but it is. It is what it is. Because he's their homegrown pick. They want him to succeed. And they're trying to do everything they can so this man can succeed. And I'm glad they are. Zartad, McCarthy-era Cowboys were like McCarthy-era Packers. Good teams with good coaches that won in spite of their head coach. I 100% agree with you. Yep. And the other issue is, and they won a lot of games. And even when they won the Super Bowl with Green Bay, you still walked away from McCarthy's tenure thinking, it just seemed like we should have won more. I mean, it's how you felt. It's like we should have won more. It's how we feel in this era. We should have won more. AJ, regular season is for players. Playoff is for teams. Woo! Boy, you dropped a bomb right there. Playoffs is for teams. Quarterbacks just get the credit. Yes, sir. I'm with you. Dro knows what's going on. What's going on with you? Gabe said, second round pick Jalen Hurts. Second round pick Jalen Hurts has been to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years and won before first round quarterbacks Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Tua Tagovailoa, Jordan Love from 2020 draft class, as well as Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Nothing but facts. Nothing but facts. Straight up. Let me go a little bit further down here. Yeah, I love some of what I'm hearing right here. Somebody said, JS2, let me start right here. He said, I still like Dak, but I think we need to be realistic. Maybe time to send McClay on a mission to find a future quarterback. But JS2, that's fine right there. There's nothing wrong with finding a future quarterback, but it's too soon. You don't need to find a quarterback too soon. Dak Prescott just signed a $231 million deal. JS2, you have to cash in on that deal. There is no option. You have to cash in on that deal. At the least, we walk away from that deal right now, $179 million cap hit. Dak walks away scot-free playing for another team. No. We're not worried about the future. You got to win now. You don't worry about the future until 2027. Dak Prescott's deal is up in 2028. You go get Dak Prescott's replacement in 2027. That'll give that quarterback 1 season to sit up under Dak Prescott, because you can't draft. Y'all, we got to think about this. You can't draft a future quarterback right now, because by the time he hits the field, it's contract time. And then you're going to do what Green Bay did with Jordan Love. We don't know what Jordan Love is going to be. Jordan Love has 1 great season, and really it was a great 3-quarter season. He had a great 3-quarter season, cashes in on what? A $200+ million contract, became the highest paid quarterback in the league based on 3/4 of a season. Too soon. Way too soon. It's too soon for the Cowboys to draft a quarterback. They don't need to be thinking about quarterback until 2027. Get Dak Prescott, and what you really need is a confident backup. If you're in win now mode, get you a confident backup. Somebody who you say, if Dak goes down, not only can we win 3 or 4 games, we're going to put together a team that's good enough with this run game. We want to put together a team that's good enough that can go on and win playoff games. That ain't Cooper Rush. That is not Cooper Rush. Sam Darnold is going to be too high for the Cowboys' blood. But I say all that to say, you don't need a quarterback right now. It's too soon. Way, way, way too soon. Everybody just be patient. Get the quarterback in 2027. Because you need every single player you can get to contribute, because I've been saying it for the longest. I believe the Cowboys get the chip in 2026. You build for 2026. 2025, this team will be competitive. It will be back in the playoffs. 2026 is when I believe this team will not only have filled all the spots we're talking about right now. The culture change will be there. I'm telling you, I will not be surprised. I will not be surprised if next season we see the Cowboys win 10, 11 games. They get into the playoffs. They win in the first round and lose a heartbreaking game in the second round, which will fuel them to come back in 2026. If they can field the roster this season, 2026 becomes all best player available. All best player, because that's exactly how you want to draft. This year, get it to how you want it. Fill all the positions so that when you hit 2026, it's best player available. Then in 2027, you can make another run. If you don't make it in 26, you can make another ferocious run in 27. You should have a really good team by that time. And then 2028, it's make or break for Dak Prescott. It's make or break. He either wins or loses. And if he's still balling, Dak is probably going to give the team an extremely cheap team discount. And for all you Dak Prescott haters, if they ball out over the next 4 years and they really get together a strong team and it continues to contend and they can get into a couple of Super Bowls, they may keep Dak Prescott for who knows. They may give him another 2 or 3 year extension and let him retire as a Cowboy. Alex Tyson, appreciate that $10 super chat. Alex Tyson, boy, I like what you said right here. He said the talent gap between Dallas and Philly isn't that far. And let me add to what you're saying, because again, I like Jalen Hurts. I think Dak Prescott is better. Dak Prescott is better. Dak Prescott would not have to run like, and don't get this confused. I'm not knocking Jalen Hurts. The man is lethal with his own skill set. He does his thing, play within himself, do your thing, Jalen Hurts. But I'm talking about as it compares to Dak Prescott and what I see. Dak Prescott is the better quarterback. When you're talking about quarterback, Jalen Hurts, y'all got to think about what Jalen Hurts has actually done. That's pretty amazing in a sense. Who is the last running quarterback that won a Super Bowl? I mean, a true running quarterback. We haven't saw Lamar Jackson get there yet. Michael Vick didn't get there. Cam Newton wouldn't jump on a fumble. I mean, who is the running quarterback? And I wouldn't classify Steve Young as a running quarterback. Steve Young was a quarterback that could run the ball, though. He could run that thing extremely well. But when you think about a true running quarterback, I mean, I can't think of anyone. Y'all help me out in the chat. Y'all tell me who. Because you think about it. This man broke a record last night, I think, if I'm not mistaken, for the most rushing yards by a quarterback in the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts is a true running quarterback. But it's a rarity for a running quarterback to win a Super Bowl. It is. I mean, we've had some of the best running quarterbacks we've ever seen in our life in the last 10 to 15 years, and none of them have cracked that bowl game like that. But Jalen Hurts did. Did it through the air, and he broke their backs on the ground. And in saying all of that, I'm still taking Dak Prescott. I'm still taking Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott can win in a shootout. He can win in a shootout. Jalen Hurts, now the NFL has a new goal. How do we stop a quarterback like Jalen Hurts? Because you're going to have to be able to stop a quarterback like Jalen Hurts, because when Jalen Hurts pulls the ball down the run, I mean, I would say he might be he's almost running back simply because he can squat 600 pounds. And when he gets going, I mean, he doesn't put his head down and stuff like that. But, man, I'm telling you, Jalen Hurts is lethal with his skill set. But I would still take Dak Prescott. I would still take Dak Prescott. And because he's better than Jalen Hurts, because CeeDee Lamb is better than A.J. Brown, we wouldn't require as much to get to the level of where the Eagles are. Now, if we had what the Eagles have, you better watch out. We're going to be extremely crazy with it. But we wouldn't require as much. You think about CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb, on the opposite side of the ball, what kind of wide receiver? Now, I want a McMillan type wide receiver. But the reality is CeeDee Lamb is so good, if you could just get a better than Brandon Cooks wide receiver, the Cowboys will still be okay. I don't think they need to be okay. I think they need to go out and get them a 1B. That's what I think they need to get. But I'm with you on it, Alex. We wouldn't require, at least in my estimation either. I don't think the talent gap is the problem for us. Because, again, we've handled up on them even in the Super Bowl year. I think our problem with the Eagles is our mentality. We don't have the right mentality. Our mentality is killing us. I'm going to read the rest of my list here in a moment, and you'll see I'm going in some of the same places you guys are going in. Our mentality is the problem. Yeah, the main difference is toughness and mean streak. See, we get punched in the face, and we just run home crying, which is severely lacking on the O-line and D-line. And we get manhandled on those. We get manhandled on the line of scrimmage. You give us a team that has a good O-line and D-line, we can't do anything with them. They manhandle us. And we've had this problem, not only since then. I mean, we've just had that problem for a long time, period. Byron says,
Here we go.
Yeah, Staubach. I thought about Staubach when I said it. But Staubach was more of he's a quarterback that can run. Jalen Hurts, I don't want to call him a run. You know, some people say he's a running back playing quarterback. But I will say as far as running and throwing, he's probably about 50-50. 45, 55? I mean, he's literally a running quarterback. If there's ever been someone that fits that description, it's him. He's a running quarterback. I mean, that's exactly what he is. And that's what makes him so lethal. Because you say, oh, he's not the best passer. Okay. Oh, he's not the best runner. But where he ranks in those things makes him so strong. But I think he can be stopped. I mean, he's been stopped this season. I think he could be stopped. I would love to see what he looks like next year with the Detroit Lions back at full power. I think I think when you're playing a quarterback like Jalen Hurts, you got to have a strong D-line. You got to have a strong D-line. And again, you know who almost did it? Let me tell you why matchups matter. People don't understand this. Matchups matter. This almost did the Philadelphia Eagles in. And I know y'all going to remember this. Matchups matter. And I'm telling you right now, this game right here, like to have been the wrong matchup for the Philadelphia Eagles and like to have gotten them sent home. This game right here. This game right here almost got them sent home. And one of the reasons why is that the Rams had a D-line, and man, their D-line looked more ferocious than it looked more ferocious than Philly's D-line. But the issue is, Kansas City just had no answer for them. Now think about this. The Rams, with a good Philly line, man, the Rams were nasty that day. Look at this. The Philadelphia Eagles gave up 7 sacks. The Rams almost did them in. This game, I'm telling you, This game came down to the absolute wire. Matchups matter. Who would tell me that the Rams are better than the Kansas City Chiefs? Nobody's telling you that, but matchups matter. That doggone Rams D-line. They stopped Jalen. Problem is, and the problem that a lot of teams are going to have, can you stop both of them? Problem is with the Rams, they stopped Jalen Hurts, couldn't stop Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley popped him for 2 big runs. Couldn't stop him. Kansas City stopped him. Couldn't stop Jalen Hurts. So you got to have a good a defense that can rush 4. And then, I mean, you're going to have some linebackers that can stop Jalen Hurts once he get past the line. Or that can stop the running game. They're a hard team to beat the way they're currently constructed. And that's why I say, boy, teams matter. Teams absolutely matters. Now, for the Cowboys, they're going to have to build their team like the Detroit Lions. Not 1 running back, but 2. They're not going to have the luxury of Dak Prescott. I think Dak Prescott will probably try to be a lot more mobile this season. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. Do what Jalen Hurts is doing. I think he'll be able to do some things, but not what Jalen Hurts is doing. What's going on, Nisi? Glad to see you in the chat. Skull, boy, you really like that Eagles kid, don't you? I wouldn't have him on my team for nothing. I wouldn't have that joke on my team for nothing. I saw all I needed to see with Ewers. No thank you on him. Get right, get left. Debo's a running back. Not that I wouldn't have him, but Debo's a running back. You have to understand something. With Debo, you're not getting a wide receiver as much as you're getting a running back that can catch, if that makes sense. But I'm not saying I wouldn't keep him if the price. I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't get him if the price was right. I would welcome him to the team. Nah, Bribey, I can't agree with you. Because everyone is agreeing, even the people who don't like the Cowboys. Dak Prescott has never played on a team like the Eagles. Never. Dak hasn't played on a team that's stacked. Never. He has not. And there are not many people that have played on a team that's stacked. That team is stacked. That team is absolutely stacked. James Hill. Now, watch this. He normally handles pressure well. Now, go back now, what I said. This is what I was telling Boss today. Patrick Mahomes, you give him 1 rusher, eat him alive. You give him 2, he can pretty much deal with him. He couldn't deal with 4. How do you stop? What can you do when they can rush? Okay, you run to the left, there they are. You run up the middle, there they are. You run to the right, there's nothing they could do. There was nothing he could do. Patrick Mahomes had not faced a defensive line like that. Not only had he not faced a defensive line like that, he hadn't faced a team like that. Welcome to the NFL. This is when you know you are a true star. When a team builds a team to specifically stop you. He was looking at his own kryptonite. That's what he was looking at. They went to the planet Krypton and got the kryptonite they needed. And they brought it to the game. And there was nothing he could do. I'm telling us with Patrick Mahomes, I don't understand. Sometimes people need to just admit it, man. Just admit it. What happened last night? What happened last night, Patrick Mahomes? Philadelphia Eagles were better than us. What? What are you talking about? They were better than us. All the way around, they were better than us. We were outcoached. We were outmatched. They were better than us. I couldn't do nothing because of the defensive line rush. There was nothing I could do. I don't know how else to explain it. Jalen Hurts was awesome. I mean, sometimes you just got to sit down and say, it is what it is. They were better than us. End the story. Where's the lie? Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league on a good team that got beat by the best team in the league. Facts. If everyone who keeps trying to break it down and dismantle it, oh, it was the pass rush. No, it was all of it. It was all of it. The Philadelphia Eagles coverage was crazy. The Philadelphia Eagles coverage was crazy. Because even when Patrick Mahomes broke out to make some throws, they were breaking them up. They were breaking up throws. They were doing all kinds of things. Why? Got to give them credit. They're good. They had the best team on the field. And what we got to work on, because I think we have the pieces. We need some more pieces. But where I think the Cowboys, I think they've cracked the code. They understand it's our mentality. And I think they think Brian Schottenheimer can fix this team's mentality. I think that's what they think. And I have to say, this is the one thing I keep saying I'm excited about Brian Schottenheimer for. I think he's going to help this team's mentality. What's going on, Brandy? Quinn is a good coach. We know that. You talking about, oh, yeah, Dan Quinn? Yeah, I agree with you. James, Dak is not the problem. Coach is the problem, 100%. 100%. And I think they think Brian Schottenheimer can help him with this. James Hill, I'm telling you, I've been saying this for months. Aaron Rodgers, they all said the same thing, outdated play calling. It's exactly what it was. Totally outdated. James said, gee, that's where they get screwed up. They look at the team as only the quarterback. The other teams has better teams than quarterback. And you're going to see this trend. You're going to see this more and more. Jared Goff, people do not understand. Jared Goff, defense was decimated. But also Jared Goff betrayed his team. And it makes me wonder about Ben Johnson, his guru offense coordinator. Why did he abandon the run? Why did he abandon the run? I think they could have stayed with the run. I told y'all last night, I love what the Eagles did. Do y'all realize something? Let me tell you what people don't understand. It's fascinating. I'm telling you, the Eagles proved my point 1,000%. I've been saying it. You don't run the ball to have a dominant run game. That's extra. You run the ball to dominate the game. The Eagles dominated the game with the run game. They dominated it. What other team would do this? I love what Kellen Moore and the Eagles did. What other team would do this? Saquon Barkley, 2.3 yards a carry, 57 yards. But they ran him 25 times. That's how you dominate a game. You dominate a game. If a team has said we're going to stop your running back, do you stop running him and then give that same team the luxury of you've given up on the run, so now we're going to pin our ears back and now we're going to just rush the quarterback all night? No, you've decided you're going to stop the running back. Guess what we're going to do? We're going to keep on running him. We're not going to let you give up on. See, because if we give up on the run, watch this, y'all. If we give up on the run, the other team gets to give up on stopping the run. Don't you let them give up on stopping the run. You make them fully commit to stopping the run. Because if you make them fully commit to stopping the run, that's what they're going to have to do all night. And now your play action continues to work. Now your quarterback can continue to roll out. He can do some read option. The play fakes are working extremely well. Why? Because that team has said no matter what you do, we're not going to let you run the ball. Okay, we're going to keep running it. We're not going to let you off that task. If people thought like this, the Baltimore Ravens, the Buffalo Bills had committed to stopping the run. So why stop running again? Keep running. Make them continue to dedicate their resources to stopping the run. And now you figure out, okay, they're going to stop the run. How do we build some play action passes off those runs? How do we disguise it? Because they're going to fall for the fake every single time. Why? Because they have ingrained it in their brains the whole week. We're going to stop the run. We're going to stop the run. We're going to stop the run. Anything that resembles a run, guess what they're going to do? They're running to that running back. Get you some plays that play off that. The Baltimore Ravens gave up on the run. The Buffalo Bills got to the Kansas City Chiefs. I'll never understand it. Why did they give up on the run? All of a sudden, these teams go back into, we got to fall back on the quarterback. The quarterback can do it. The quarterback can win it for us. He's the best quarterback. He's top 5. Stop it. You go in with a game plan and you stick with it. And just because somebody says, anybody else would have stopped running the ball. Anybody else would have said, hey, man, this is a lost cause. I mean, doggone it, man. We've run the ball 15 times. We only have 30 yards. Keep running it. Why? Because they're committed to stopping it. Don't let them off that commitment. Because if you let them off the commitment, they get to put those resources into stopping something else we do. But if they're going to stop the run, that is giving us opportunities to pass the ball because you have to dedicate more people to stopping the run. I'm telling you, man, you run the ball to dominate games. Having 150 to 200 yards, that's the gravy. Because now you really cracking them up. But the fact that they ran the ball 25 times with Saquon Barkley, they ran it 6 times with Kenneth Gainwell. I ain't even counting Kenny Pickett. So that's 31 times between Gainwell and Barkley. And now you put the backbreaker on them. This is the one player that they said, we'll stop him and make him beat us. Okay. Sounds good to me. He hit him for another 11 and 72 more yards. So when you think about it, you have to keep running the ball. And the Cowboys, they're going to help Dak Prescott out a whole lot. They're getting Dak Prescott a running game. I promise you they are. They're getting him a running game. Hurts' team is better. There's a difference. That's it. 70s fan, you changed up the logo there like you got a superhero on there. That's it. That's all you have to do. You have a running game. Dro knows. The Eagles built a massive O-line. D-line too. Got him arguably the best running back in the league. They did. He is the best running back in the league. A Heisman Trophy winning wide receiver, A.J. Brown. And Devontae Smith is no slouch. Devontae Smith is no slouch. No, they did exactly what they were supposed to do. The Eagles put together a team, and that's our goal. We have got to put together a team. Sean M., we had the best O-line during Romo's years and Dak's rookie season. Man, Sean M., I've been saying this for years. Well, not years. I've been saying this for months. This team didn't look the same after Travis Frederick. It just didn't look the same. Tyron Smith in the Dak years started getting injured, but it never recovered after Travis Frederick. It just, nothing looked the same afterwards. I'm with you. Rumble had a pretty good line. Pretty tough. That Philly line is tough too. Dro knows they thumbs got sore. It needed a break. Boy, they put them boys out there. They did. Richard, why waste the draft on a quarterback? That's not what we need. Yeah, exactly. I'm saying the same. You don't need a quarterback. It's a waste. You get a quarterback right now. You don't even know what he is in his contract. You're already having to make a decision on whether or not you're going to pick up a fifth-year option on this guy. Nah. You don't get the quarterback at 2027. Kevin Bryant, I want the Cowboys to get away from being America's team. I want us to be so good and dominate on offense and defense and best and beat teams so bad that everyone in the NFL hates us because we win so much. Yeah, that, you know what? And the bad part is this. We don't have no choice but to take that America's team. We don't have no choice. Somebody else gave it to us. And it's just stuck. And it's so funny. 70s. Refresh your browser. And so the problem is we're going to always get teased about this whole issue about being America's team. Sean M., I'm with you. I love the fact Dak's our quarterback. He's not the problem. I love Dak being the quarterback. Roman, what's going on? Good evening. Mike McCarthy was so bad that he reached just one time in the Super Bowl appearance with the best quarterback. I said the same thing, man. I said the same thing. I mean, they were bragging about this man winning a Super Bowl. Man, I hate the fact that I have to argue with my sons about Aaron Rodgers. Man, Aaron Rodgers in his prime was crazy with it. This dude was crazy with it. I feel like he wasted the man's whole career. I would love to have Amari back. I don't think he'd come back. If we can get Amari back and draft the wide receiver in the top 3, oh, man. Please stop it, AJ. Boy, if we could. Oh, man. Woo, man. But Amari ain't coming back. Jay Snipe, calm down, bro. Hurts got one. Not your boy Dak. It's okay. Jalen, better be careful about the Philadelphia Eagles. This isn't about Jalen Hurts. This is the part we still keep missing. This isn't about Jalen Hurts. It's about the team. Let me tell you something about our team. Jalen Hurts threw an interception last night in that game. Right when, to me, they were already about to break the game. They were ready to break the game wide open. He throws an interception. The mentality of our team is so bad. We would literally crack if Dak Prescott throws an interception in a game. The Philadelphia Eagles didn't even blink. You'd have thought he never even threw that interception. They didn't even blink. They just continued on as business as usual. When you do that, your team has the right mentality. The right mentality. Nisi said it. We have an entertainment mentality. I agree. And Nisi, you think about what happens with entertainment. The moment we're not entertained no more, we break down. We got to get aligned. I'm with you, Sean M. You said bring back Gilmore. I would love to bring back Gilly. I would love to bring back Gilly. Let me go down a little further. Drew, what's going on with you, Drew 912? Here's the only fact that matters. Hurts has been to more Super Bowls in a shorter period of time than Dak. It's not about sets. It's about playoff wins. And Drew 912, let me add to what you're saying. It's not about Jalen Hurts. And it's not about Dak Prescott. It's about the teams that they both play on. And in both of these Super Bowl seasons, Jalen Hurts has played on a better team. You can't, it's not even arguable. He's played on a better team both times. You got to understand, they were not asking Jalen Hurts to be Superman all year long. They didn't ask him to be Superman all year long. They allowed him to be Superman only when they needed him. And when you have the best running back in the league, again, the Kansas City Chiefs handicapped themselves. They made a decision that they were not going to let Saquon Barkley get 100 yards, I guess. Succeeded. Problem is, you lost the game. Lost the game because you had no answer for both Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts. Let me go down. Let me read a few more, then I'm going to read my 4. Jay Snipe, what's going on with you? You're being fooled by you're actually being fooled by the media. Dak Prescott has not had a top 5 offensive line. He hasn't had a top 5 unless you're talking about the rookie season. And the rookie season, I'm sorry, we can't blame that loss on Dak. Dak was on the sideline pretty much when they lost that game. I mean, Aaron Rodgers was at the peak of his powers, man. I don't think nobody was beating Aaron Rodgers in that game. But Dak Prescott has not had a top 5 line. That's media nonsense. We ain't had no top 5 line. Oh, man, Robert M., stop telling the truth. The 4-year experiment with Mike at the edge needs to end. He needs to go back to linebacker. Robert M., I'm in total agreement with you. And I'm really wondering where is this in this Matt Eberflus. And maybe this could be a part of the thing about trading Micah Parsons. Matt Eberflus's defense is predicated upon 4 down linemen. That's it. Can Micah Parsons, he can maybe play in that, but can he thrive in that? Does that type of defensive line fit an undersized edge rusher? Because that means his responsibility just went up tenfold. Man, he got to do a lot playing in just rushing 4. Because now you're responsible. You're the first line of defense for the run. You got to do the containment, whether it be run or pass. That is a lot of responsibility. And undersized, that is going to be tough. Troy Dudley, I'm telling you, I was sweating that game against the Rams in Philly, boy. I was sweating bullets. I'm telling you, because that Rams, you talking about matchups? Them boys almost knocked them out. The Rams almost knocked them out because the Rams' defensive front is as ferocious as the doggone Philadelphia Eagles. 7 sacks with that offensive line for the Eagles. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Let me give you my other 4. So here are my other 4. And a lot of these y'all have been hitting on, so I'm just going to reiterate. So for me, for the Cowboys to get back, it's got to start in the offseason. I've already mentioned my first one. Please, Cowboys, hurry up, finalize all these coaches, man. Enough about the coaches. Okay, great. You got Shotty a great coaching staff. You got him a great coaching staff. Okay, I'm with you. I like what you've done. You got him a great coaching staff. Number 2, Micah Parsons. Sign or trade this man. Please. Sign or trade Micah Parsons. Do not take Micah Parsons' contract deep into next season. No. Micah Parsons needs to be. I was doing some research on this, and I was trying to figure out, could they sign Micah Parsons right now? And it looks like they have to wait until the season starts March the 12th. Sign Micah Parsons immediately. Sign Micah Parsons immediately. You need to know what you're doing in free agency. Sign Micah Parsons immediately. There's a couple other moves they need to make too, and I'll mention this in the next one. But sign Micah Parsons. If we're keeping Micah Parsons, let's not keep this in suspense. Micah Parsons needs to be in training camp. He needs to be in spring training. He needs to sign that contract, and somebody needs to get in his ear and let him know, hey, bro, Don't miss involuntary. Do not miss voluntary workouts. Darren Woodson said it. Voluntary or mandatory. When you buy in, you be there. You be there just so you can at least get the system early. Because if you're going to be the man on defense, then you need to be the man championing the plan. You need to be the man that's the driving force of the plan. You got to know. You have to know the defense. You have to know what it is they're going to do with you and buy into it early and immediately. But Micah Parsons, sign him or trade him. If you're signing him, let it be known we're signing Micah Parsons. Deal already on the table. All we're waiting on is the date. If you're not going to sign Micah Parsons, stop playing around. Let everybody know we're looking to trade Micah Parsons right now. Highest bidders, come on. But we need to sign. If we're signing Micah Parsons, let's sign him. And in the grand scheme of things, keep your business out of the streets. We don't need all the talking about what's going on with Micah Parsons and his contract. If you're going to sign him, sign him. I think this is already starting to be, while we're making some great strides to change, this issue right here is looking like more of the same. And this is one of the main reasons why I wish somebody would tell Micah Parsons, man, be quiet. Be quiet. Stop talking about what you'll do. You'll take discounts and all of that, because at the end of the day, you're only hurting the team. The team don't want this drama. The team don't want all. The team just gets tired of all of this. And now you're playing in the court of public opinion. Now the Joneses are letting leak. We've been talking about, every player gets talked about being traded. The problem is not every team lets that leak out. The Cowboys let that leak out for a reason. And I got a video coming out about this tonight because it makes me wonder, why is this coming out? For all intents and purposes, Micah Parsons has been talking about a discount. I've told y'all this and showed y'all this. But how big of a discount is he talking about? How big is he talking about? Because to say that you're going to be under be under Nick Bosa, I've already shown these contracts. Nick Bosa's contract is head and shoulders above everyone else's. So to be up under Nick Bosa, you would still be head and shoulders above everyone below Nick Bosa. So when I hear this stuff, I'm not buying it. But there's a lot to this. But to me, all the junk to the side. Sign this man and sign him immediately. You need to know where you are with the money. You need to know where you are with the money. Number 3, we need to re-sign whoever we're signing, we need to sign them. We need to re-sign our own free agents now. And these are, I think I have 6 free agents we need to re-sign, or we need to consider re-signing. And then we have one who's not a free agent, and we need to consider whether or not we're going to keep him. Number 1, the Cowboys, after you sign Micah Parsons, and I know they're going to sign him, but whatever you're doing with that deal, get it done. Second thing, or this is the third thing, but this is the person you need to sign. Decide if you're going to sign Oso Odigizua. Right now, decide if you're going to sign Oso Odigizua. Start getting everything lined up right now. Are you re-signing Oso Odigizua? You need to go ahead and sign Kevontae Turpin. We don't need to be playing around with that either. Go ahead and make this man a great offer and sign Kevontae Turpin. Do Brandon Aubrey early. Brandon Aubrey's deal need to be done a year early. We don't even need to take Brandon Aubrey into the next season. Do Brandon Aubrey's deal early. This man is not going to kick for you for Cracker Jacks, and I don't even want to deal with a kicker holding out. Brandon Aubrey is too good. Go ahead and sign him. Brock Hoffman, Cowboys, need to sign Brock Hoffman. Why mess around with the Brock Hoffman deal? Go ahead and get the Brock Hoffman deal done. Marquise Bell, sign him as a safety, save money, and cut one or both of those other two safeties. And then we need to decide what are we going to do on Zach Martin. The discussion with Zach Martin needs to start happening sooner than later. Cowboys need to know exactly where they are on all these moves. The fourth thing the Cowboys need to do, go ahead and flip the switch on Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb's contract. Stop playing around. You already know you're going to do it. Go ahead and do it now. Know the money that you're going to be able to play with. Go ahead and do the thing with Michael Parsons. Know the money you're going to be played with. Sign Brock Hoffman. Cut Terrence Steele. Move Guyton back over to the right side and go into the free agency and deal with the left side. But the Cowboys need to do all of this stuff and get it solidified. And Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Parsons. These three players need to get on the same page. They need to be aligned together. And what I'm saying when I say aligned, Michael Parsons needs to stop. It's like when he's talking, he wants to take leadership. Stop it. Michael Parsons, you're not the leader of the team. Understand who the leader of the team is. And get aligned with Dak Prescott. Get aligned with CeeDee Lamb, and let this team see all three of y'all aligned. It'll help with the mentality of the team. Get behind the plan, and y'all get behind the plan, and y'all get the rest of the team behind the plan. They need to be aligned. They do. And I think if they can get those things done early, so we don't have the offseason that we had last year. The offseason we had last year was disastrous. It just was. Disastrous, man. It don't even make sense, this stuff that we do in the offseason. And it's almost like we're starting to do the same thing now. We already got this nonsense going with Michael Parsons and his contract. And it leads me to believe Michael Parsons may be saying one thing, but his agent is still, and I think they're on the same page. I think his agent is doing whatever he's being told to do behind the scenes. Because I find it hard to believe that if Michael Parsons was talking about taking a discount, and that discount is significant, that's going to say, I'm not even going to take top 5 money. I'll just take $15 million a year. I find it hard to believe that he would not already be signed. I've been hearing some of the things that Michael Parsons has been saying. It depends on how aggressive we are in free agency. So if we're not aggressive in free agency, you're not taking and I'm not asking him to. It's the Joneses' job to work that salary cap. I don't think it's conducive to the team's mentality for him to keep talking about it. It's just like Darren Woodson. And Darren Woodson is dropping some bombs. Darren Woodson is talking about things he sees in the media and he sees on the field. Stop spending your off seasons talking about money. Last year was Dak and CeeDee. Here we are again now. Now we're talking about Michael Parsons. And Michael Parsons ain't helping any. Keep talking about he's taking a discount. Everybody's applauding him, but no one's asking how much. Well, how much of a discount are you taking? That part matters too. I'm telling us. The thing I think we need to work on is our mentality. Kevin Howard, I agree with you. I think Dak Prescott's about to have a monster season next season. Monster season. Robert M., fully commit to improving the team in free agency and putting more complete team around Dak. Yes, sir. Totally agree again. Which shoddy offense are we going to get, the Jets or the Seahawks? That's the question. We don't even know yet. And one of the reasons why I think we don't know yet, we hadn't even got the team yet. James Hill, if Dak threw an interception, Michael would have been whining and CeeDee ready to argue with Dak. Exactly my point. Hurts guaranteed his line and everybody kept Hurts gathered his line and everybody kept calm. It's about a team and they have to be mature. James. You know, one of the most powerful scenes of the Super Bowl? Let me see if I can find this. One of the most powerful scenes. Let me see if I can find a picture first. I wish I could find it. But there was a scene last night in the Super Bowl that was insane to me. When Jalen Hurts threw that interception, he went to the sideline to look at the tablet, and the offensive line was standing around him looking at the tablet with him. I thought that was incredible. I was like, this team is next level, man. The camaraderie they built up over the weeks, it's exactly what you want. It's exactly what you want. You don't want people with bad body language. Dak Prescott makes a mistake, they're acting a fool. They make a mistake, all of a sudden now they don't want nobody talking to them. This team has to get better, man. The mentality is terrible. AJ said Matt Eberflus can make a defense built. Yeah, he can. And he can also get more out of the linebackers, which is what lacked under McCarthy. Yeah, and like I said, I think, if I'm not mistaken, AJ, I think he runs that rush 4, drop 7. Sean, ever since Brady had Micah in a spin cycle in the playoffs, Micah is scared to play linebacker. Seems like he doesn't want that responsibility. He's just see ball, get ball. I'm agreeing with you. I think he wants it to be caveman style football for him. Oh, I know what I'm doing today, coach. I'm just going after the passer. What a waste of talent. He's way too talented just to be playing to just get the quarterback like a caveman. No, watch film. Play linebacker. You got quickness, speed. Play coverage. Todd, I was sweating that Rams game too. Jared versus the Bees. He's a rookie. Man, I'm telling you, them Rams, they were a bad matchup for the Eagles. Matchups matter. Man, they almost got him out of there. They did. They almost got him out of there. Those teams weren't good because the media hyped it up. The media have always overhyped. They have overhyped these Dak Prescott teams to nauseum. They overhyped the 2023 team that lost to the Green Bay Packers, that even now Mike Fisher is admitting. I've been saying it. The Green Bay, at that point in the season, were better than the Dallas Cowboys. We're better than the Dallas Cowboys. Mike Fisher, he's finally starting to admit it. We took a team into the first playoff game against Green Bay at home like we were going to beat that team. That team was better than us. Green Bay was better than us, period. We don't even want to admit it. They were better than us. Their defense was way better than ours. And they could run the ball. They could control the line of scrimmage, and there was nothing we could do about it. They pushed us all around like we were punks. Robert M., no matter what anyone says about that, the team has been in the playoffs with couldn't stop the run in a story. Exactly. And also, they need to understand he's the quarterback, so it is what it is. It doesn't matter if anybody keeps talking about him or not. Everyone get aligned. Nisi, it showed this season. When he missed those early camps, he stated that he got Zimmer's scheme, and it was November. November, Nisi. November. That's insanity. Kevin Howard, man, let me tell you something. Somebody's trying to make this Cooper Kupp trade. It looks like they're trying to make this thing work. It really does. They may try to make that thing work. I tell you this, Dak Prescott wouldn't be mad. And let me tell you why Cooper Kupp. I don't know or think it's going to happen. Let me tell you why Cooper Kupp would be great for Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott needs a wide receiver that'll shut his mouth, line up, play hard, catch the ball. That's Cooper Kupp. That's Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp's going to support his quarterback. All you got to do is get in his head, push him around. It's out there on him. You're right. He has a reputation of the softest wide receiver in the league. Alexander said so himself after the playoff game. Facts. Facts. I think Angie was the one who coined it and said he's a supermodel. She said he's a supermodel playing wide receiver. Yeah, I know what you mean, though. All right, let me read about 2 more of these, and I'm going to be out of here. Wicked, what's going on with you? Yes, sir. Dallas needs to copy the Eagles, and so do the Steelers, man. Let me tell you something. Boy, Howie Roseman ought to be highly sought after right now. Highly sought after, man. Howie Roseman is in a situation he could literally go to the Eagles and say, hey, man, I need a raise, bro. I done got you to 2 out of 4 Super Bowls. Hey, man, I need a raise. Cowboys not bringing them on, Wicked. But there's nothing stopping the Steelers from bringing them on if it's about the money. James said the front office, those guys the same way they did Dak. It's a negotiating tool. Yep. I'm telling you, James, that's the same thing I'm saying in this video I'm about to release. Because this sounds like a negotiating tactic. Why would you have to negotiate? And Michael Parsons has already said he'll take the discount. And that's why it's making me wonder, what's the discount? Because if you're telling me the discount is below Joey Bosa, that ain't really a discount. Because Joey Bosa is making Grand Theft money. He's head and shoulders getting paid more than everybody else. Doughboy, Jerry Jones had a chance to get Derrick Henry and didn't reach. Boy, that doesn't even make sense. Not only did we have a chance to get him, we had a chance to get Saquon Barkley. Barkley's contract isn't that big. Crazy. Brady Morales from El Paso, what's going on with you? It's going good, man. Good to see you. I'm about to get out of here, though. I'm going to let Sean have the last word. Jerry thinks players are knocking down the door to come pay for Dallas like the 90s. Instead, they're going after the player. Yes, sir. Kupp's grandfather played for Dallas back in the day. Wow, didn't know that. All right, Cowboy fans, y'all make sure y'all hit that like button on the way out. We'll be back tomorrow. Sometime around 6. I'm trying to figure out a time because I don't want to compete with the times of other content creators doing their thing. I think Cowboys football talk, I was doing 6:30. No one else was doing it, but it looks like now he's doing 6:30. I just don't want to try to be at the same time. I know you guys like to watch all of us if possible. So we'll see what it do. But I will be back tomorrow to play in 6:30. Y'all hit that like button on the way out. Subscribe if you haven't. Help us get to 6,000. Also become a member if you haven't already. Until next time, let's talk Cowboys. We talk facts. Peace.